What's up and welcome back to Naptime Builder. We're going to change it up a little bit and work on somebody else's stuff today. It'd be my daddy's. Daddy 76 F150. 4-wheel drive. 4-speed. She needs some front end parts. It's terrible. You got to see this. Hold up. You got to see this. Look at the slop here. So, needless to say, she wore out, okay? So, hopefully, we got all the right parts. Here's what we got. Got some new ball joints, tie rod ends, adjustable, the whole kit and caboodle, and then some new bushings for the track bar, which is a huge reason why the whole front end is shifting back and forth, because the bushings are basically completely gone. Hopefully we can fix that with that. I guess let's compare these parts. Hope and pray they're gonna work, that they're right. And then start tearing this thing apart. See what I mean about that bushing right there? Boy, this thing's nasty up in here. Look at that. Yeah. That's just lovely. Well, this thing's disgusting. She might need a pressure washing after I'm done. Alright, so I didn't tell you, but how we got here is Daddy went and got some new tires put on this thing, and while they had tires off, supposedly they grabbed the hub or something and moved it and was like, your ball joints are wore out and blah, blah, blah. And I told him, when he told me that, I was like, well, if your ball joints are wore out, I said, we might as well go ahead and replace the other steering components, because I'm sure they're slat wore out too. But these ball joints have no movement in them at all. Now the rest of the steering components, straight up jacked up, okay? We proved that already. These ball joints have no movement at all. And on this mug, you gotta pull the axles to, it looks like, am I wrong? To get the ball joints out. And I'm like, I mean, do you really wanna go that route if you don't really need the ball joints? You know what I'm saying? So, look here. There's no movement at all. Up and down, side to side, nothing. You move it, the whole steering's moving. There is no... You come over here, no movement. The steering is moving. Oh, I finally found some. Yep, that right there. That bottom one. Oh, boy. Okay. Scratch what I said. This side over here definitely needs ball joints. We're gonna tear all this apart. Oh, fun. All right, so we're gonna start off with a little flat punch, knocking our anchor out there. That way we can get our caliper off and out of the way. And then we'll pull these Allen heads, disassemble our locker and everything in here. That way we can pull our whole disc assembly and everything off, and then pull our axle out. Pull the cap off. All right, so this has got a little clip right here in the center. See if I can. I need a better set of these. But, whoop, there it is. Put it over here with the rest of it. And then That's for the... I'm pretty sure there's a clip around here. There we go. Now we can work that out. That's why I had to put them 2 screws back in, so I could try to get her out kind of evenly. And now, hopefully, this is the right one. Get on there. Okay, thank goodness. Alright, so there's a nut, and then I believe there should be a washer or spacer, and then another nut. And then after we get that off, we can pull the whole thing off. So, step back. Come on. Come on out. That one. Got a spacer. And another one. Get on there, honey. And there's that one. And now we should be able to pull the whole disc off, but don't forget there's bearings in there, so you don't want to tilt it over too bad. So we'll lay it back down here. I'm trying to keep everything semi how it was. Worst case scenario, we'll just look back at the video, right? Alright, so now I can take these bolts loose, get a rubber mallet or something, try to knock that loose, and then we can pull our axle out, and then we can hopefully get to our bolts and nuts and everything tremendously better for the ball joints. So it's not that terrible, it's just a lot of messy pieces, and some are different, some are a lot of the same. So I got an issue, okay? It's taking that ball joint loose there. Ain't working too well for me, okay? But kind of find out this is the wrong kit. Wrong kit. I'm so irritated. And that was trashed. And I go back to work tomorrow. Daddy probably wants his truck back. And here it is, already took me an hour and a half just to get this side halfway tore apart, and I ain't even got the spindle off yet. I guess I'm gonna be calling a parts store. I bet I ain't getting them parts today though, you know. And they're probably gonna be more than I paid for these, which was already expensive, so. Nice. What'd I say? Gonna be more than I paid for these. You ain't gonna daggum believe I called the O'Reillys, okay? Yeah. Tie rods. Of course, if you call the parts store, they break it down in little bit pieces. You order offline, you can get a couple, 2 or 3 pieces together. You know, like the full tie rod from one end to the other, instead of you got this part and then this part and then this part to equal one tie rod. Anyways, I digress. Inner tie rods was like $230 something. Outer tie rods was like $300 something, or vice versa, one of the two. Either way, it was gonna add up to like $550, probably $600 after daggum taxes, and they couldn't even get half of it. All special ordered. You gotta be kidding me. So I started looking around other places. Wasn't much better. So then I look on the old YouTube, and apparently a common swap for the 76, they call this the Y steering. Apparently a common swap is to convert to this to T steering, which don't look like no T, by the way, which is on the 78, 79 four-wheel drive F150s. So that's what we're doing. All of that ended up being like $200, $205, something like that after taxes. These other mugs is wanting $500, $600. So anyways, now I gotta wait on those parts. But we're gonna continue to tear this thing down because I still have ball joints I have to replace. And it's 11:30. I'm halfway through the daggum day and I ain't got crap to show for it. What do you, I mean, don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Not me. So, you know, I'm just gonna continue tearing her apart and fussing and everything and all that. You know, drowning in my sorrows over here. And even the 78, 79 parts at the parts store was gonna be another $100, $200 more than what I'm getting them for offline. Is it gonna be from China? Probably, but it's gonna be a heck of a lot cheaper than buying that other crap. I know these trucks is old, but there ain't no point in making the prices of parts so daggum expensive that nobody even wants to keep them on the road. And people fuss and complain when you go away from stock, because you know you got all your boomers that love stock this, stock that, bring it back to original. Can't nobody afford to bring crap back to original when it's $1,000 to replace the daggum front steering components on the daggum thing. Okay, I'm gonna shut up, get back to work. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so this is a few days later. Your boy had to, you know, work some day shift, but I got the 2 ball joints out on that side that I was working on, sitting right there. But got the 2 ball joints out. Got the new ones in and was putting everything back together. And, you know, to the last part here, putting the little nuts and spacers on the inside there. And was going to slide the hub in, the locking hub. It won't slide in. If you can tell, that is not completely in the center. It's a little bit closer up here than it is down here. And that hub has to lock in them grooves and the grooves around the axle there. Not working. So something's got that axle tilted just a little bit. And I fought and I took it, put it in, tried to tap it in, pulled it out, put it in, pulled it out 100 times. Enough times that I could have had the whole thing rebuilt, I feel like. But if you see, these new ball joints have bleeders. That bleeder is touching the axle. Why would you have them bleeders on a 4-wheel drive? If it's gonna hit the daggum axle. So I'm gonna have to take it all back apart just to pull the freaking bleeder out right there. I mean, not bleeder, you know, the grease fitting, because they're greasable. So, question is that gonna be all right? I don't know, but it ain't gonna work with the daggum grease fitting. I'm so irritated. So irritated. Now I gotta pull it all back apart after all that work I did the other day. Cut my hands up and everything. I was having a rough day. But now I gotta pull all that back apart just to take the grease fitting out, just to put it all back together to see if it's gonna work like that. And then I still gotta go over and do the other side. Like I said, this is a few days later. The new pitman arm and outer ball joints are supposed to be here today, but the drag link is not going to be here for 2 more days, possibly. I'm just hoping the parts coming in today actually going to get here today. They claim they're out for delivery, so we'll see. But now I got to tear this crap back apart, pull the bleeder out, put it all back together. Before I pull the bleeder out, I'll probably go ahead and pump some in it just to make sure, and then pull it out and try to slam her back together and see how it goes. I need to stop working on. They already know I don't work on. I don't take customers, you know, because I don't have so much time to work on stuff anyways. I got my own stuff to work on, but I don't work on just random people's stuff. I'm about ready to stop working on family stuff too, because when I work on somebody else's stuff, it bothers me more because I feel like I'm in more of a time crunch to get stuff done, and then something always happens. You know, something's always wrong. I could never run a shop. I'd be stressed way too much. Anyways, let's tear it apart. All right, so now we have this side back together with new ball joints. All I did, well, I had to tear it all apart. Took the fitting out after greasing it up. All right, of course the wind's blowing, but I got both sides back together. All the ball joints are greased. Got the brake calipers back on, so ball joints and all that mess is done. Now it's all gonna be up under the front here. Already got tie rod loose down there, drag link loose here. I gotta undo the shock right here and take this loose from the pitman arm. Then we can drag that out of the way and work on trying to get our pitman arm off. Also, I got to take the track bar back there behind it off because it is the one with all the slot. We got to put bushings in that. So that's what we're working on at the moment. All right, so luckily the pitman arm wasn't terrible to get off. I did mess up and try to take it off first, but it wouldn't come down past the bolt that was holding the track bar in. So then I had, with it being loose and dangling there partially, I had to go ahead and get that track bar out. Just got done taking the whole thing out. That way I could get the pitman arm all the way off. So the reason we got to change the pitman arm, the biggest reason we got to change the pitman arm on swapping from the Y steering to the T steering, is on the Y steering, it already has the ball joint top end in there. On the new one, it does not. It's just like that. So, and now we got this, and this is the new drag link, but we do not have the new tie rod that goes from one side to the other. So Like I said, I just got the track bar out also. We're gonna work on putting new bushings in it. New bushings. Get it back in. Well, put new bushings in it. Put our new pitman arm on, whatever. Put our track bar back in. And honestly, that's really about all we can do for today, because it's going to be a couple more days until the tie rod ends come in. So, that's what we're working on. Check this out. So here's the track arm. Absolutely no bushing. Nothing's got a bushing still in there, but you know, she ain't pretty. So, hopefully this bushing kit will take care of that nonsense. All right, luckily them bushings, well, the one bushing, you know, that was actually in there, got it out, and that's part of it. It was stuck on the inside of it after I got the metal sleeve out. That was it. It was pretty rough looking, you know. There's the sleeve. Luckily we had new sleeves and new rubbers. New pitman arm in right behind it. You see the track bar is finally back in with new bushings. You can't really see that bushing because of the big washer that goes on the front of it. But, a big old but. We got all 4 ball joints in now. Brakes and everything's back on. Hubs and everything's back assembled. We got stumped there for a little bit because of our dadgum grease fitting. We got old pitman arm off, new pitman arm on. And I did loop the seat belt through the steering wheel to hold her as straight as possible. You know. And then new bushings in the track bar. I would go, if that was the tie rod bar over there, I would go ahead and install it. But it being the drag link that connects to the tie rod bar, I just can't, because it would just be dangling. There would be no point in it. And I'd not want to have it dangling and mess it up just because I was impatient. So I was looking back at my order, and it is just the bar that goes across, and it has the other tie rod that hooks onto it with a coupling, or, you know, adjusting sleeve. There you go. It don't come with adjusting sleeve because it's just replacement parts, you know, for a 78, 79. So I'm hoping that the adjusting sleeve on this one will work on that one. It was kind of an afterthought. So, yeah. Now here's the old pitman arm. She's actually not as bad as I was thinking it would be, but she's not the greatest. And this is the Y steering. I will have to take this off and see if we can make it work on our new one for our shock there, steering absorber, whatever you want to call it. Obviously he needs a new one. That thing didn't even retract back or come push back out after I shoved it in, so that ain't helping none. This is old stuff. I will remove that and try my best to make it work. Hopefully we won't have to do nothing different there. But today's Monday, and the other part is not supposed to be here till Wednesday, so that sucks. So this thing is still in my way for a few more days. So tomorrow, I'll be working on something else. It won't be in this video though, so, you know. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. Sorry I'm so boring, okay? Just trying to give you some info of the stuff I'm having to go through in case you should come up where you're in a situation like we are. We just didn't want to pay $600 and something just for tie rods, basically. So I think I spent $220. I think it was around about $220 for the upgraded system. People claim it does better. Hopefully it does. Hopefully I don't have no issues, because your boy usually has a lot of issues, you know what I'm saying? We'll catch y'all. All right, parts finally came in. Look, don't be worried about what I look like, okay? I just walked out of the gym, and I'm burning up, so I'm gonna enjoy this daggone wind blowing on me right now. But got their parts in. Hopefully everything's fine. All right, so here is our tie rod. Hopefully our coupling, our old coupling, works bringing these two together. And then our drag link will hook in that eyelet there and run upward to the pitman arm. Whereas this one from the passenger side ran up to the pitman arm, and then that drag link broke off and came down. So now it'll be from one wheel to the other wheel, and then over here close to the end, that one will go up for steering instead of passenger going up to steering and then that one breaking off and going to the right side. I don't know. We just hope it works fine, okay? That's all we're hoping for. I do have to get that coupling, that adjustable sleeve off of there. Say a few prayers and hope we can make it work on here. So let's see, okay? Bro, I'm so over it. So over it. I hate working on other people's vehicles. Now, I'm waiting on parts for mine. And I'm also waiting on a part for Daddy's again. This mug. All right, so the bars are beefier. It's not because I went from 2-wheel drive bars to 4-wheel drive bars. It's because I went up 2 years. I mean, apparently the 78, 79 steering bars are thicker than the 76. Sleeve won't even come close to fitting. And I tried to make it work. Like, I spread that mug apart and I was trying to fit. Let me just show you, golly. As you can see what I'm talking about here, I tried to spread her apart and make her work, but she still ain't big enough. Still ain't, like, I can't even get the tip in. Look at there. Ridiculous. And the thing is, I spread her out anymore, I wouldn't even be able to get the clamps over it anyways. Just called O'Reilly's. They had 2 options. It'll be here tomorrow, or be there tomorrow. So, I'm gonna take this with me tomorrow. Make sure that mug fits before I leave. You know I went with a $17 one. I mean, you know, why double it? Anyways. Man, that's common sense. If she'll work, she'll work. If she fits, she ships. I mean, anyways. But I'll be taking that with me tomorrow when I go down there and check it out. Hope and pray that it's right. I'm ready to get this mug out my driveway. I got things to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if I am still waiting on the flywheel for my daggum 55, I mean, I could be tinkering with something else. You know, something else. But, God, shouldn't be this hard. Shouldn't be this hard. And I should have just found the sleeve then, like when I was looking for the parts. But, you know, this took so long, and I kind of forgot about the sleeve, and da-da-da-da-da. This finally showed up, and I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm beat down. Tired of this nonsense. But you know, that's what we're doing. We're waiting, impatiently waiting. Lord have mercy. So, reality check. The $17 one was not right. So, luckily I took the tie rod with me to the store when it come in, checked it. Was wrong, obviously. There was one other option. ordered it. Came in later that day. My wife went down, took the tie rod in with her. It also did not fit. I had a different guy that was helping her. It was technically the same product as the other one, just different brand, not bigger like I was told. Somebody just looked at wrong numbers and thought it was whatever. Anyways, guy ended up going in the back after taking some measurements. It is not made and meant to be on a 78, 79 F150, but this sleeve fit, and they had it in stock. What do you know? So it's on. It's tightened all the way down right now. It is adjustable, and we're just gonna make her work. And I'll be honest with you, today is Easter. We just got home from all of our Eastering, and it's like almost 7 o'clock. But I go back to work on day shift tomorrow. I need these parts at least on the truck. That way tomorrow after work, maybe I can spend 30 minutes to an hour and like align the daggum things or something and be done with it. Otherwise, it's gonna be Saturday. Yeah. A week from yesterday. Otherwise, it's gonna be like Saturday, because every other day after work, we're gonna have ball games or church or something like that. So I'm just gonna try to get these thrown on there. They ain't gotta be perfect right now. I just need them on there. That way I'm not doing that and trying to adjust tomorrow. That's the plan. We're gonna get them on tomorrow. Hopefully after work I can try to get these things adjusted and hope and pray that this thing's gonna work. I feel bad. I've had it as long as I have, but it ain't been my fault. It's hard finding parts sometimes. It's terrible. I'm gonna shut up and put some parts on. So this back one here is our tie rod bar. The reason I just Googled is because I just said all this and never hit the daggum record button. But anyways, this back one is our tie rod bar. It's gonna go from one side all the way to the other and adjust in and out to get our toe in, toe out. Is that right? No, probably not. Anyways, get our alignment correct. This one is our drag link. This will hook in this hole here, and this end will go up to our new pitman arm. Hopefully all this works and ties together and just absolutely beautiful and works like a masterpiece. Because that's the kind of the look I need right now, is because I need this mug out of my driveway. I don't like working on other people's stuff, because then I feel bad when stuff takes longer than I feel like it should, even though it ain't my fault. Let's stop complaining and put some parts on. All right, so last night it got dark on me, but I did get the parts on the truck, and now I just got done tightening them all up, throwing the Carter keys in and greasing up everything. And I think she's ready to go. Here's what she looks like. And there we go. We got her tie rod, goes all the way across, and our adjusting sleeve down there. And then that drag link hooks onto the tie rod and goes up to the hitman arm there. Not too sure about that shock. Well, she's wore out anyways, but it'll be all right. But I've measured front and back, and I believe it was on the front. It's just an 1/8 of an inch narrower. which is what I've always been told would be right, to make sure it's in line enough that, you know, it kind of keep between the, you know, you can take your hands off the wheel and it stays straight or whatever. I don't know, you know, so I'm just going by what I've always been told. But everything is tight. Car keys are in. Everything's greased. I guess I'm about to take her off the jack stands. So, all right. So now that is it with Daddy's 76 F150. Did the track bar bushings. Went ahead and ripped all of the Y steering off. Tie rods and drag link and all that. Upgraded to the 78 to 79 factory steering. Also got to do the pitman arm when you do that. I could not find the adjusting sleeve, but the guy at the parts store found me one in stock after I'd already ordered 2 that was wrong. But that one was in stock and it works, so. So I showed y'all at the beginning of this video what this steering was like, right? How it was, the whole truck went back and forth. Look, nothing. Also, there is no play in that steering. He's not gonna know how to drive this thing no more. That's gonna be it for this one. I'm so glad to get this back to him. I'm taking it over there right now. He just lives right next door, but I'm taking it over right now just so I ain't gotta look at it for a while. You know, if I want to look at it, I'll go over and visit. Anything the truck's fault, it's just parts on some of this crap has gotten ridiculous. Apparently, it's a 76 four-wheel drive is a little more rare nowadays for at least, you know, tie rods, stuff like that. That's one like upwards of $600 for freaking tie rods, not even counting all the ball joints and stuff like that. So it was a no-brainer to spend like a third of that. That would have been spent on tie rods alone, and just go with a little bit newer steering. Hopefully this works good for him. I'm gonna keep it updated on him. I'm gonna tell him I need some progress reports every so often, you know. But that's gonna be it for this video. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully my ignorantness and lack of getting the right parts and all this other stuff will, you know, help y'all's journey be a little quicker than mine was. This has been ridiculous, but I got to go. So we'll see y'all. Have a good one. Come back when you can stay longer. You know, all that good stuff.